Over the past 7 episodes, we have covered a lot of ground together, and we have explored what clarity actually is and what it isn't. We've named what's ours to carry and released what isn't. We've subtracted what no longer serves us, claimed our actual authority, and broken the reactive cycle, learned to lead through the fog, and we've practiced the discipline of presence. I hope you enjoyed that episode. It's probably one of my favorites. And now I want to end where every good season of growth begins: questions. Because sometimes the clarity you're looking for doesn't come from having the right answers. It actually comes from asking the right questions. So today, I'm giving you 8 questions that clear the static, questions that cut through the noise, expose assumptions, and create the kind of clarity that actually helps you move forward. So I want you to grab your cup of coffee and a pen. This one is meant to be sat with, not just to be listened to. So let's get started. Before we get into the questions, let me tell you why I'm ending the season this way. Most of us, when we're stuck, we think we need answers. We need someone to tell us what to do. We need direction, we need a plan, we need a solution. But I have found that rarely is what creates movement. Because often, we're not stuck because we don't know the answer. We're stuck because we ask the wrong questions. We're asking, how do I make this work? When the real question is, should I even be doing this? Or we ask, what is the right decision? When the real question is, what's actually mine to decide? We're asking, why isn't this getting easier? When the real question is, what am I avoiding by staying stuck? The right question has power. It has the power to shift your perspective or to expose what you couldn't see, to cut through complexity, and to get to what actually matters. So here are the 8 questions I keep coming back to. Questions that have created clarity for me when everything else feels just like noise. Question 1. What problem am I actually trying to solve? How many times have you heard me say that? If you've been in 12 meetings with me, you've heard me say that. I ask that question all the time. But this is deceptively simple because often we think we're working on one problem when we're actually tangled up in something else entirely. I know someone who spent months trying to figure out why they felt so disconnected from their spouse. They tried date night and more quality time, and they tried talking more. But when they actually sat with the question, what problem am I trying to solve? The answer wasn't about the marriage at all. They were actually really disconnected from themselves. And they had been so busy carrying everybody else's weight that they had lost touch with what they felt, with what they needed, and with really what they wanted. And that inner disconnection was showing up in every relationship of their life. So the surface problem was the marriage, but the actual problem was self-abandonment. See how easy that is? So when you're stuck, ask, what problem am I actually trying to solve? Because you might be working on the wrong problem. Question 2, what am I assuming that might not be true? We all carry assumptions, known and unknown, conscious and subconscious. We assume different things about people, about situations, about what's possible, and about what God expects. That's a big part of our life, whether we realize it or not. And those assumptions shape everything: how we see problems, what solutions we will consider, and what we believe we're allowed to do about them. Super powerful. I spent years assuming that I couldn't change direction because people were counting on me to stay where I was. And I never tested it. It wasn't like I asked or anything. I just assumed. And that assumption kept me stuck until I finally had the conversation. And you know what? The response wasn't what I expected. People were more understanding than I'd given them credit for. So ask yourself, what am I assuming about the situation, about the people involved, about what's possible? And then test it. Because sometimes the only thing between you and clarity is an untested assumption. Question 3. What would this look like if it were simple? When we're stuck, we tend to overcomplicate everything. We assume that if it's important, it must be complex. And if it's worth doing, it must be hard. But that's not always true. In my book, Promise Over Purpose, I talk about this perspective of tunneling. And it's this concept and a scarcity mindset. So those two things go kind of hand in hand. But what happens is our brains actually shut out all of the other possibilities when it's stressed, right? We get into this fight, flight, freeze mode. And so what happens is our brain disconnects or shuts down our field of view to see any of the other possibilities because it's trying to protect us, because we're trying to survive. So that directly correlates when you're sitting in a space where you're trying to like come up with the ideas or find the solution, right? And you feel this pressure, then your brain could also be blocking out the other opportunities or options because it's trying to protect itself. I think about a friend who was overwhelmed trying to stay connected with people who mattered to them, and they were designing all of these elaborate plans and group chats and calls and things. And then when they asked themselves, what would this look like if it were simple? Then the answer is like just one text a week, right? Just reaching out to one person with a genuine thank you. That's all. That's all I needed to do. And that worked way better than any system that they had designed. So sometimes the simple answer is the right one, and we just can't see it because we're convinced it has to be harder than it is. Question 4, what do I already know that I'm not acting on? This is one of my favorite questions. I feel like my business coach in some way, shape, or form asks me this all the time. Because most of the time we actually do know what we need to do. We just haven't done it yet. We know we need to have that conversation or set the boundary. We know we need to let go of a commitment or ask for help. We know, but we're waiting for more information or courage or better time or certainty. But in the meantime, we keep searching for clarity when the clarity is already there. We just aren't acting on it. So, what do I already know? Ask that question. And what's keeping me from moving forward? Could it be fear or comfort? Or maybe it's the hope that if I wait long enough, the problem will just resolve itself on its own. Because sometimes the clarity you need isn't more information. It's just the courage to act on what you already know. I know it's hard, friend, but you can do it. Question 5, what does love require of me here? That question cuts straight through a lot of noise. But when you are tangled up in competing priorities and unclear expectations or messy relational dynamics, it's really easy to get lost in the weeds. But when you step back and ask, what does love really require of me right here? It helps to clarify everything. It's not what's the easiest thing or not what will make everyone happy or what protects me from discomfort, but what does love require? Love might require the hard conversation, or it might require holding a boundary. Love could require letting someone struggle instead of rescuing them. We do that a lot as parents, which is hard. And love might require staying when you want to leave or leaving when you want to stay. I'm going through this right now. There's a season in my life where I've been called to steward hearts, and there's a big part of my heart and life where I would like to leave, but I'm committed to stay. And that's hard. It's hard to do that, but love requires me to be here. And so I made a choice to stay. But asking the questions gets you past the noise and into what actually matters. And that's super powerful. Question 6 is, what's the next smallest step that I can take? My coach also says this a lot, so shameless plug. When you're overwhelmed by complexity, this question creates immediate traction. You don't have to solve the whole thing. You just need to go and take the next right step, right? We've talked about that a lot this season. But what's the next conversation I need to have? Or the next decision I can make with what I have? Or the next small act of faithfulness? Not the next 10 steps, just the next one. This has been a thread throughout this whole season because clarity doesn't come all at once. It comes step by step. So you're going to take the first step, and then from there, you are going to see the next step. But you can't see 5 steps from now. You just can't. You have to move first and then trust that the steps will come. Question 7 says, what am I grateful for in this moment? And this question shifts everything. My husband and I have been walking through a gratitude season, mostly him, not me. I've been in a mercy season, if you understand what that looks like. But he's been in a gratitude season. It's powerful. It's such a powerful reshaping of your mindset. Because when you're stuck or overwhelmed, it's easy to fixate on all the things that are wrong, right? Everything that's hard or what's not working. And that fixation really narrows your vision, and it makes everything feel heavier than it actually is. But when you pause and say, what am I grateful for right now? It reorients you. Maybe you're grateful for a friend who showed up this week, or for a conversation that went better than you expected, or for the fact that you still care, that you're not cynical yet, and that you still want to grow. Gratitude doesn't solve your problems specifically, doesn't make them all go away, but it radically changes your perspective. And sometimes a shift in perspective is exactly what you need to see the way forward. And question 8, where am I not present right now? This is the question that I'm sitting with personally, and it connects directly to what we explored in the latest episode. Because sometimes my lack of clarity isn't because I don't have enough information. It's because I'm not fully present to what I already know. I'm mentally ahead. I'm planning the next thing or anticipating the next problem. Or I'm mentally behind, replaying the last decision or second guessing everything. But I'm not here right now in this place with the people that I love. So I want you to ask yourself, where am I not present in my life right now? And where am I avoiding by staying mentally elsewhere? And what would I see if I actually stopped and looked at what's right in front of me right now? Because sometimes, friend, clarity doesn't come from gathering more. It comes from being fully present to what's already here. So here's your assignment and your invitation as we close this season. I want you to pick one of these 8 questions, just one, and sit with it this week. Not to answer it quickly, but I want it to work in you. I want you to write it down. I want you to pray through it. I want to talk about it with someone you trust and see what clearly surfaces. Because the right question has power. The power to cut through static, to expose what's hidden, to show you what you couldn't see before. And sometimes that's really all the clarity that we need. Well, friend, this has been our clarity season, 8 episodes. Can you believe it? It's a lot. That's a lot. And you have walked with me through all of them, which is super awesome. Congratulations. And I want you to know that I do not take that lightly. I know that we have covered clarity and certainty, and we've discussed what's yours to carry and the discipline of subtraction, your actual authority, breaking reactive cycles, leading through fog, the cost of living mentally elsewhere, and now the questions that clear the static. My hope is that this season gave you more than information. I hope it gave you permission. Permission to stop caring what isn't yours. Permission to subtract, to restart, to reset. Permission to lead from what's actually in your hands. And permission to be present to your whole life, your whole heart, friend. We will be back in the fall with a new season on wholeness and resilience, exploring what it means to live from an integrated life, not a fragmented one. So until then, I want you to keep asking the right questions. I want you to keep practicing presence and to keep trusting that God is with you in every uncertain step. But before the fall season, I have one more episode for you. It's a bonus, something that I've been waiting to say for a while. It's called Permission to Want Something Different. And if this season stirred something in you, something that you're not quite ready to say out loud, then that's my special episode gift just for you. And here's your last chance. If you haven't yet, take the quiz. What's your leadership superpower? And you'll find the link in today's show notes. So don't forget to pop over there and check it out if you haven't already. This is Entrusted to Lead, and I am Danita Cummins, and you are my dearest friends. If this season helped you, I would love to hear from you. So share your biggest takeaway. You can find me on Instagram or LinkedIn at Danita Cummins. And if you know someone who's navigating a complex season and could use a little more clarity, can you share this podcast with them? I think that it might be exactly what they need right now. So friend, thanks for being here. I love and appreciate you, and I hope to see you soon. And as always, don't forget to keep showing up every day, even when it hurts, because you matter. Okay, friend, have an amazing day and enjoy your amazing summer. I'll see you later.